on. Come on in. Come on in. I don't have a lot of time today, so I'm just going to get through as much as I can. And the window I have. How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Say hi in the comment. Let me know if it's your first time so I can give you a shout out. Um, Today, I want to talk about T visas. Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, Kelly Onu. Good morning, 5050, and good morning from North Carolina, Onizo. Just to introduce myself, my name is Aisha Chidole. So I'll be doing I'll be doing your consultation. I'm so used to saying that. I'm an immigration lawyer. I represent clients all over the United States with their family immigration matter. Today, I want to talk about T visas and just some examples. A lot of people have asked me, can I give examples, of when one might qualify for a T visa, just because, a lot of people don't understand how that works. First timers, Sagittarian royalty, thank you for joining in. Onizo, I'm God Princess Kelly. Thank you guys. My number is 407 995 6567. You can call me to schedule a consultation. No, I don't do only VAWA cases, i.e. today I'm talking about T visas. I do marriage-based cases. I do cases for families. You're filing for your parent, your mother, your father, children, spouses. I do fiance visas. I do consular processing. We do appeals. We do waivers, 601, 601A. Naturalization. So we do everything, obviously, I'm very passionate about VAWA and just really being an advocate for victims of domestic abuse and violence. So it's something that I'm very passionate about. I definitely do a lot of those. Okay, so today, because I don't have a lot of time, let me just get right into it. I want to talk about, let me define T visa again for those of you who don't know what it is. So think of it this way. T visa is when you've either been recruited or you've been transported or obtained for labor or services through the use of force, fraud, or coercion for the purpose of involuntary servitude or debt or bondage or slavery and stuff like that. So a lot of times people think someone should have forced them into the country, but you could be lured into the country or promised something, which is a form of coercion. So you might have entered here because someone promised you something, but they had ulterior motives when they brought you here. So two examples I want to talk about is one, especially those typically from the Caribbean. Let me use that for example. Like a lot of people from the Caribbean, may come here on an H-2B visa, or they may come or they may have the ability to get a visitor's visa, a B1, B2. There are these agencies or quote unquote people that can place you in jobs. So they will say something like, well, just go, get a visitor's visa. And once you come here, we'll guarantee your job. We're going to find your job. We're going to, put you in a job or whatever it is. And then, you get that thinking that you're coming here to work or that what they're doing is legal. And then what ends up happening is that you end up coming here, you're put in unlivable conditions. Obviously these are the only people because they've promised you shelter and accommodation. You're living with a gazillion people in a small space. They're placing you in jobs where a lot of what you're doing is not conducive. There's a lot of violation of labor laws. They're cutting your payment because they don't pay you directly, like whatever job is. Like these people collect the money and say, well, this is your portion. You don't get paid overtime. You're not free to leave if you choose to leave. Or if you want to leave, they threaten you and remind you that you're an immigrant and that they can report you to immigration. So when you have, those are that's an example, right, of something like that. Or they tell you, you can't use your phone or you can't go out, like you're just supposed to go to work and come back, etc., because they don't want people to know about what they're doing. So in a case like that, you might be eligible for a T visa. Another popular example is, this happens a lot in African families, and maybe it happens in other immigrant families, but we see it a lot in African families where an aunt or an uncle, tells you to come, that you should come to America. We'll put you in college or we'll sponsor you. You can stay with us when you come here. And so your mother or father is entrusting this relative or this family friend to bring you there. And when you come there, you're essentially a prisoner. When you get in there, they turn you into basically a housekeeper, a babysitter, a nanny, and you're basically working sun up till sundown, no payment, no allowance. You're not allowed to use social media. You're not allowed to have guests or to make friends. They keep promising you, oh, we're going to help you file for this, but there's really nothing to file for. And then you're not free to leave because, one, this is somebody that may have just sponsored by paying a ticket for you to come in here and promise you college, but you don't have anywhere to go. This happens a lot, especially when people just finish like maybe high school. And so for a lot of those people, they're really young, they're 17, 18, and they don't know where to go. And so they're stuck in these quote unquote aunts or uncles' homes with no ability to go to school because, promise after promise, but instead they turn them into basically, a housekeeper that has no pay or no day off or anything like that. So those are some really good examples of T visas, and then another example is, maybe you're already here and maybe you've talked about your situation to someone and they tell you, okay, we can help you find a job and don't worry, they're going to pay you X, Y, and Z, and maybe they fly you somewhere and, maybe let's say it's a restaurant, because restaurants do this a lot, or hair braiders or hair salons or whatever. And, they tell you braid X amount of hair, we'll give you this amount, and you're working in really bad conditions. And you're not getting paid, you're working overtime, you're not getting paid time and a half, and you're basically not even making minimum wage. So those are all, and, a lot of times when you want to leave, you're not free to leave because of threats, public shame, what they claim that you're going to tell the rest of the world about you. So those are some examples for those who have been asking me for examples about T visas, and hopefully it will kind of give you an idea of what recruiting or transporting someone for labor or services through the use of this. This really focuses more on coercion, because as you can see, a lot of this is not forced, but it's through coercion or promising something that really isn't true. Okay, I see a couple of questions. Let me see what I can take or answer here. Can a green card holder adjust their status as a person who overstayed? Kemo, the answer is very dependent on who are you adjusting your status on the basis of. So as a green card holder, the only way that you can adjust your status, number one, is if you are, can a green card holder adjust your status as a person who overstayed? Meaning you want to adjust someone's status. So as a green card holder, the only two categories of people that you can adjust their status today as a matter of what the rules are as of this month would be a spouse and a child unmarried under 21. And you can only do this if they have not overstayed. If they have overstayed their time, you cannot adjust their status. When you're a green card holder, because everything that falls under you is in a family preference category, you cannot adjust any family preference category if they are out of status. The only time that this is feasible is if you are a VAWA victim, you're an abuse victim, you've experienced domestic violence, you've experienced physical or psychological, emotional abuse through your spouse or through your spouse. If that's the case, whether you've overstayed or not, you can most likely file for VAWA, and if, as long as the visa stay current, do an adjustment of status simultaneously. So hope that answered that question. How long does it take to get work permit after biometrics? Before, it used to be more predictable than it is now. So it's really hard to give you a timeline. In the past, if you do biometrics, like at least 12 weeks later, that you would have your work permit. Now it's just, it varies. They do biometric bypass. They're just different reasons where your timeline can be different from the next person. Cliphatter says, can an interview prove that you submitted an I-485? I'm not really sure I understand your question, but if you have an I-485 interview, you did submit an I-485. If your interview notice is for an I-130, it cannot prove that you submitted an I-485. Again, if you get an interview notice, your interview notice says it right there on the paper what the interview is for. So if it says an I-485, then that tells you that it's an I-485. Do you think that adjustment of status will be affected if you didn't adjust before your time expired? If you're an immediate relative, no, it's not going to cause any. Basically, if they're going to deny it, they'll deny. If they're going to approve, they're going to approve. It doesn't affect you in any way. Adjustment of status gets affected only when, like I mentioned earlier, it's a green card holder and you overstay, then your odds of denial are about 100%, unless it's through like VAWA or one of the other humanitarian benefits. All right, let's see what else we have here. Why is VAWA taking so long? Almost been 23 months. Got three prima facie so far. I filed in May 2021. Your guess is as good as mine. If you find out the answer, let me know. It's just taking a long time. It's really annoying, but that's just what it is. They've added a new field office where we can start submitting, or I should say service center, where we can start submitting VAWA applications. I'm hoping that will sort of move things. I mean, even before, you could get your receipt, your filing receipt in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but that's also taken a really long time, So I honestly don't know why it's taken that long. I can take 2 more questions. And then I got to jump off. Let's see. Let me take something on YouTube. I submitted my VAWA application with my I-785. I'm assuming you mean your I-765. Is that what you mean? Now that I won't get my work permit until after my VAWA is approved, can I submit my adjustment of status now and hope that will speed up my work permit process? Well, Mickey, I don't know the particulars of your case. That being said, if you didn't apply for an adjustment of status, there was no point of you submitting a 765, because you don't need a 765 when you do a VAWA standalone, as long as you request a work permit on the form. Now, if you never submitted an I-485, you will need to submit an I-485 and an adjustment and a work permit application, to try to get a work permit. Okay. All right. Lamona says, how many years does one have to wait for a 10-year green card after your 2-year green card is expired? Once it's expired, when it's about to expire, at least 90 days before it expires, file for a removal of condition if you and your spouse are still together. If you're not still together, you can always file for request for a waiver based on whether it's hardship, divorce, extreme cruelty, or death. Typically, removal of conditions can take anywhere from like 18 months to like 3 years. As of recently, as I'm sure those of you on here who have removal of conditions pending, you would have received like a new receipt, which was telling you that your green card is extended for another 48 months. They're doing this because, again, of the delay with everything with immigration, so that way you have your green card and you don't need to be scheduling InfoPass to get an extended one. All right, guys. I'm sorry, I can't take any more questions because I jumped on here late. I had a very early meeting. if you need a consultation, call me, 407-995-6567. You can also send a WhatsApp if you want us to send you the scheduling link. It's 404-333-8751. All right, guys. Well, I hope everyone has a great